Go. So, South Africa. Hi guys. By the way, sorry.
It's not even
There's nothing. You have an idea of Inchev. You have dreams. You have dreams. Oh my God.
Happy
Dream.
Springboks won.
Yep.
I'm happy. Bro.
Yeah. We needed this win. We needed this one, dude. I think. Oh, I don't know. Besides the fact that we got electricity because the box were playing.
I was on the way home when the last 5 minutes I was driving from Mpumalanga to Pretoria to okay. I was driving. Everywhere where I stopped, everywhere, bro. Like South Africans were united, bro.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I was watching videos. Even I had to pull over at the side of the road, and I saw Metro Police, bro. They said like, guys, we'll handle traffic later. Let's just watch. You wanna see who's winning?
Oh, that's dope.
It brought us together, man. I think rugby has the thing, man. It's the only sports in South Africa. Soccer, it has. Not a fan. Local soccer, yes, but
But it's kind of weird, and I'm gonna juxtapose it because I've been alive a little bit longer than you have, right? 1995.
I arrived. Jacob fans, y'all get that? Yes, okay.
95, we just moved into what was predominantly a white neighborhood, right? Doesn't look like that right now, but and so 94 we arrived, and.
Jones, this podcast straight into the topic, no discussion, no intro. Let's
No, it's part of it in that.
Yeah.
I remember the guys winning in 95, right? And I mean, I was still in school, obviously, and I was 10 at the time, and running into the streets, and there was just this pandemonium because we had just obviously become a democratic country, right? And everybody was kind of still sussing each other out, and everybody had just lost their minds. Well, first thing I have to say, the Springboks have this ability to make us all lose our shit, right? Like just lose our heads.
Mandela was a fanboy.
Yeah.
I can't do the Mandela boys, but
they said this World Cup, it was a fight between two ancestors.
Mandela was away, guys. At one point, I thought that was like, my face is on the money. You better represent.
Oh, that was hilarious. They were saying Tata was fighting Lizzie.
No, Ngogomboyeni did a phone call. Like Ngogomboyeni made a phone call with Tata. Your boys, last minute.
God. So, it was such a. Man, there's that song, and I think they were singing that song. It's a song that was, I can't remember who sang the song, but she recently, I think she might have passed. I don't know, but it literally said, "It's the world in union, da da," and it was like a second national anthem, like what in Kalagata is.
Held Waka Waka.
No.
Yeah,
Waka Waka. We the 1995 World Cup. That song had become a song. There was a time when South Africa was literally writing songs to literally unite this country, right? There was a concerted effort from, and I'm being honest, from, and I know some people might disagree, but like I felt like for me as a kid, from all sides to say, listen, we're here now. No one's going anywhere, right? We all need to now make peace with the fact that we're going to be living next door to each other.
I hear everything you're saying. You're telling me you're not a school anthem, you're rugby.
Yes. I'm trying to remember who sang it. I think it was a colored lady.
I think even not now. Sorry, I think also now in Kalagata, bro. I like it, bro. I like seeing white people sing Kalagata. Like, you're killing it.
Listen,
Mendoza's royalties should be high, guys. Like, Kalagata.
Listen, Kalagata was a song when I got my first job at Standard Bank, and we had the Christmas party, right? You know, there's an awkward thing where they're like, are they gonna play black music or white music?
Yeah.
And you're just like, we don't know. And the DJ kind of starts with like, the kind of white music, and then he plays it, and then Kalagata comes on, and then you see your boss, who's as white as they come. That the typical white boy get up. The tie goes up here, and he loses his everything. Like, he's on the table,
magical, bro.
and you're like,
I
did
think
they put something in that song?
Bro, that's rugby, bro. It's what Mandela's Rainbow Nation is supposed to be. Truly speaking, that's what South Africa is supposed to be. That, because look at what rugby culture brings. Beer.
Yeah.
Number one. All South Africans love beer. Say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Number two, holidays. Cupcake. It's a holiday, but that's...
But, it's a kind of holiday.
But it's okay. I'm personally damaged. It's fine. Braai place. We all like a braai.
Yeah.
All those things have brought together a culture of people. I think that's what South Africa is supposed to do, bro. And I saw this when the day after they won. No electricity.
Yeah, there was big. Is it possible? And I know this is a bit of a reach, right? Is it possible that rugby is what the national rugby team is a picture of what South Africa could be, right?
Fact.
Or should be, right? When we're stronger together, right? The fact that it's all nationalities, right? Or race groups, or the predominant race groups within that squad, right? Working together towards one goal, right? And the fact that we crushed superpowers, right? World superpowers.
I
right?
feel like everybody was an oppressor somewhere. You crushed them. Technically, it's like revenge for. Hey, I can't say that, but you get it. England, France.
But even beyond that, the fact that these boys represent what the country looks like when all of our talents are put together, and more specifically, talents where everybody's on that team by merit. Right, it wasn't like a quota thing, and look how long it took for them to get it right. That mix, because there was a push. Let's not be frank. Let's not lie. There was a push to get more black players on the squad.
Yes,
and sometimes you'd look and you'd be like, yeah, but guys, this is biting us, because that guy, whether we like it or not, he's not as good as a Van Tonder or whatever. Whereas if we had somebody who was there on merit, right, then the country advances, right? Like, that's why we're the best in the world, because they took the best of the best.
Yeah, no, I think Bafana must take, no offense guys to all the other national team. Proteas are also doing well, Banyana, but Bafana, I know guys, constantly.
No, Sundowns is a national soccer team. We all know that. And as a Chiefs fan, I say that.
But that's the thing, because Sundowns players, most of them are not really South African. So we're saying that we're only good if we're getting help elsewhere. No, bruh. That's Springbok showing it's possible, guys.
Yes.
It's very possible. And I think the most thing that I loved about the beauty of all this, everybody knows the Springbok fan.
Yeah. Right? Like, people who know nothing about rugby.
I was in the taxi hearing a gogo say, "Ba mo feel red card when I think that like a little chama di maro pushiche." I'm like, yo.
Right?
But yeah, man.
And that's the thing. I think when we get out of our division, like our divisive mindsets, right? And we push behind one goal, right? That's what happens in the country. Like, it's a great, like, I don't want to lie, this World Cup was needed, and I said this to you in the office. I said, like, South Africa needed this World Cup win, because it almost seems as though rugby has this amazing thing to be able to almost like reset us a bit, and it's just before an election, right? Which is crazy also.
I'm not gonna say anything, guys. I'm not paying sponsored or paying. I don't know how I feel about Ramaphosa as the president now. Yeah. Like, for me, it goes back to the R. Kelly thing, where you need to separate the person from the artist. Yeah. As a president, Jack. As an entrepreneur, I respect them, man. I really do.
And I said this to you, and I said, I think what happened for me, right, with the president, is that when he came in, and we said this, and we also have to be frank and also have to be clear about it, to a large extent he was given a sinking ship, right? Yeah, and I'm not making excuses for him, right?
True.
Right? But at the same time, what I think happened is, we had an idea that he's going to come in as a CEO president
and come fix
with the turnaround strategy, and we're like, we're going to do
this, type of way.
And to be honest with you, if you watch long enough these presidential kind of campaigns, whether it's here or the United States or whatever, these guys, before they go into office, they've made so many promises to so many people that when they eventually get there, they have to pay.
Man, it did say to my man, to me, but at the same time, like, it's always easy to drive from the back seat, bro. Like, if you're not the one in control, I ask myself, what would I have done if I was a president during COVID? I'm still fixing Zuma's problems. I'm still fixing corruption. Like, okay, let's look at SAA and Transnet. They both died. Those were two big companies, right? But he found them sinking. What is he supposed to do, And like I said, I'm not really I'm not paid or anything by LNC, but truth be told, he did a good job. Not the great job, but he did a good job. I respect him for it.
I'm going to say this. I don't know about... I would say, it is... I don't know if it's a great job or a good job, but here's what I think it is. He came in and they said to him, just manage the thing that's falling apart.
But yeah, it goes back to, like, it's like, bro, like, okay, you're a doctor, man. Yeah. A cancer comes in with stage 4 cancer. Yeah. This person's going to die, and they're just like, I'm fit to just... It's something, you understand? Because look at this thing. Not for me, honestly. This is what I feel. Yeah. We were not supposed to get the 2010 World Cup. The FIFA World Cup is moshi. It goes back. Mandela said this. I don't know where he said this. He said the problem with freedom is that when people get it, they don't know what to do with it. The problem with money is the exact same thing. The World Cup brought so much money, and that's where the corruption started of tenders. The tender system, according to me, it used to change. There used to be a system where if this is not working and we feel like, no, this one's eating too much, let's change it. Yeah. Why is this one not eating too much and then this one's not eating? The person that's supposed to get in the 10 is not eating it. But now you look at Abu Edwin Sodi, who are eating. everything for me in this country that's wrong. There's a tender somehow that's wrong, but ESCOM tender gone wrong. And as Ramaphosa, what are you supposed to do? Because we know that ANC somehow, somewhere ESCOM, you guys messed up. But it's your own house. You can't burn your own house and say like, yeah, we're going to investigate ESCOM because you go down with it. And as an entrepreneur, that's what I'm like, I understand because you're politically tied to certain things, whether you want to be there or not.
I think for me, and I remember saying this a couple of years ago, and
I sound like I'm defending him, but yeah,
I said this a couple of years ago, and I wasn't popular for saying for echoing this, and somebody actually echoed it further, which was Vusi Tembegwayo, when he said, you know, when 94 rolled, and they were like, you have freedom, right? And going back, tying it to the whole thing of not knowing what to do with it. I honestly felt like what the then ANC government did to absolutely hamstring the country, the black community of the country, right? They started shouting words like free, 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 right? And so what happened? I feel like the general populace went, oh, it's coming for free. No. And then we kind of just relaxed, right? Versus you are now free to pursue the life you want to have. That's a completely different. It's like not being allowed to play on the sports field, né?
Yes.
And then they say to you, OG, the sports field is now open to you. And you're like, oh, sharp. And you're like, don't worry, we will give you a free medal. Are you going to work as hard? No. Versus OG, now you can go into that sports field and go and push and go get yours.
As a citizens, there's certain things that, you know, we also are too dependent on the government. That I'm not going to go into. But now my main discussion is, let's look at the Springboks. We didn't win. There were two World Cups that we didn't win when New Zealand beat us. The system was broken. What did they do? They changed the system. I don't know why, man, things are not changing, guys. We all see the corruption. We all see what's wrong. And at this point, we can complain. Like, what's the new step forward? That's why I'm like, let's take Ramaphosa out of the equation. I think any president that we would have put in that position, what were they going to do about ESCOM? Yes, there's some shigo. I see things are going to become privatized now, but truly, generally speaking,
look, there's a culture of fast in this country, right? Like we want to, and we're gonna laugh, but Trevor said this, and he said South Africa, how we seem to do is like everybody goes, hey, listen, so this is how you're gonna do it, and you know how you get to it, and South Africa is like, yeah, thanks, but
we want to do it the other way. Yeah,
we're gonna, you know, true. And I think that's what's been happening. I see it on the daily, just in the tiny things, right? Like I drive most of the time, right? Like I'm on the road every single day. There are people who don't even stop at the traffic lights anymore. It's like why is this thing here?
It's a suggestion.
You get me? So I almost want to say, and I'm scared.
Know too much is, bro.
Yeah, I feel like there's a culture of lawlessness that is now synonymous. It's like normal. Like you know when you go to a certain department, someone's like, yeah, no, I've got this 200, and I'm like, what? This thing is free.
I think the best example I can use is two types of corruption in South Africa. I'm gonna use Metro Police because the most common one you know, ne? If a Metro Police pulls you over, let's say for example you just left your license at home, or while you're driving something cracked on the windscreen, I don't think you should go to jail for that. They're called drink sharp is that Natolisa.
No, you won't go to jail for it.
No, I get, but I'm just saying, like in this instance, it's a minor situation where like something's very small. Just that cold drink I would police. Can I continue my day? I'll rectify, right? Versus if a Metro Police pulls over someone that's drunk and driving, and then they do the same thing and they offer them a bribe, now you're endangering the lives of other people. I'm not saying that crime is right, but all I'm saying is that if your actions are harming another person,
but I'm gonna counter that and be like, the reality is, it sounds weird, right? I'm more comfortable knowing that if I've left my driver's license behind and it's a what they call a finable offense or whatever, right?
Yes.
And I know that they're gonna fine me $500.
Yes.
For some odd reason in my head, I am comfortable knowing that I'm gonna get a ticket and it's gonna be $500 and I can go and pay it. Now you don't know what's gonna happen because you're gonna be like, no, just give me the ticket. Then they're like, oh, you're trying to be clever. And then all of a sudden, now they're checking for a triangle. Now they're checking for this. And all of a sudden, you find yourself now you're behind bars because you didn't wanna.
I retract my previous statement because it's too much. Something as simple as getting a driver's license, man. Bro, it's so hard to get.
You told me it's $5,000 now for you to, with everything involved for you to get. I'm like,
I'm fair too.
5,000.
I'm fair too. And I know they're gonna be like, I come to a car. See, that's the problem, bro. At this point, I'd rather doing a fun
Like. And I know it sounds horrible, doesn't it? Like the fact that and I'm gonna say this from a perspective of a black man who's lived in this country, right? And I'm gonna age myself for 38 years, right? You feel more comfortable doing things with white folk, right? Because you're expecting to some large extent that there's a rules. Even if, like, you're like, there's certain rules. If you do this 1, 2, 3, 4, this is what happens, right? Like, for instance, we were commenting about the guy who bought that Golf 8, the Nardo Grey one. He parked it. He went to go show his mom, like, yo, guys, mama, I just bought a new car. Gone with that car, right? And it was found a couple of, like, near a squatter camp somewhere. And I know it sounds narrative. Like,
the one was the parts were broken.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Yeah.
They gutted that thing, right? And then did you see what the comments were? Yeah, but why did you go to the castle without hood insurance? I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
like, no, it's not like a group of like white dudes jumped in the car and they were like, let's go hit that thing. No
insurance. You need if you buy a car transit that is and you live in a hood, you need to give that one uncle or someone
who's feared.
Drive around with
and feared for what? Because he's the bad guy, right? He's the king of the bad people, right? And like, why do we do
normalized
that?
crime? And
do you understand that?
I get it. We've normalized crime.
And that life, and I almost want to say that life is already hard enough if you're a black South African. And I'm not playing the victim mentality, right? Just in terms of like you and some simple as you knowing about finances and about investments. You and I had to teach ourselves, right? Right? When you teach ourselves, that was something that was never a thing that was in our households because our parents didn't even have money to even think about investments. What about investments? I'm teaching my mom how to do investments now. She's nearing retirement. She's asking me about a retirement annuity. She's asking me about where should I invest. Like when I showed her that I've got shares, she was like, how? Where should I get it? Can you imagine if when I was born, my mom knew about being able to buy shares, right?
Yeah.
She would have been a shareholder by now and been making, a ton of money for her retirement, right?
Yeah, if it's not necessarily I'm scared about the next elections. Like, it gives me anxiety. It's not even about who wins. It's about if things are going to change, what exactly is going to change.
Like we need to start voting along the lines of, like, it's going to be a make or break election in that there are people who are going to vote along party lines because of and I want to and I say this with great respect, but at the same time with a bit of disrespect or with a bit of frustration. You're going to vote blindly with a blind loyalty, right? And a blind allegiance, where some people need to sit down and say, actually, are the leaders that I have actually serving the mandate? What is the mandate? Can I see it happening in my household? Because some will tell you, no, there's a plan that they're going to. But
we're hungry, bro. Like,
is it touching your house?
For me, we're hungry, and we're not even hungry like physically. Mentally, we're hungry for so much. I look at everything that's wrong or going on in the country. With Dr. Matthews and everything. Here is the problem. We are hungry for knowledge. We are hungry for education. Two different things. Our basic education is basic. I went to a course training. I can't mention the institution in case I'm flagging anything, but I went for a business management training, and one thing that she said was that the problem is that you guys are supposed to know most of these things. You're supposed to be at least level 5, and we're supposed to take you from level 5 and escalate you. But because you went to schools where you didn't even do any of these things, now it can start from level 2 and then build you up. And it's true with most institutions. Bro, there's really good teachers out there. There's teachers that are trying to do a difference in so much, but they are very limited by the curriculum.
They're hamstrung by the very Department of Education.
Where's Blade in Zimbabwe? Bro, Blade was the one, bro. For me, I don't even know why they removed that guy. Blade was doing things.
Let's talk about the 30% pass rate. I know it's been beaten to death, right? Like, as a country.
But I understand it. Honestly speaking,
I see it from both ends, right? In terms of there's a lack of depth in terms of resources, right? Because and this is where maybe I'm gonna also age myself a little bit. Like when during my schooling era, it was 50% or nothing. Like, whether
it pushes you.
You can understand, you needed that 50% because why? It was a global standard, right? Arguably, because there's some countries will tell you now 60% or 65%. But you get me, because in my head, it made sense that when I got to varsity, anyone who's ever survived predicate day, Baba, 49%, you're rewriting.
For me, it's like, okay, education is not the same. School is sharp, but it's not even just about the school, bro. Like I'm saying, we're in a problem now where if you go to how high schools are now, but these kids are going through a lot, bro. It's not just like socially, financially, education-wise. Like I say, you go into high school expecting to be knowing certain things, and you don't know, and you're behind. And now that 33% pass rate for me is that thing I worry. How many times are you gonna fail a student because of something that, like, majority? It's like if majority of students are failing, then you see there's a problem. The problem, I don't think, is the students. Yes, I know there's a lot of things that they're gonna say, they're lazy. I don't think the problem is the students. It's the curriculum. If you are teaching, it goes back to the thing of Albert Einstein. If you force a fish to climb a tree that's gonna grow up its entire life thinking it's stupid.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. The pass rate, yes, it's low, it's ridiculous. No one should say, yeah, I wanna get 33% on pass. Because that means you only know 33% of the work. You don't know 77%. Imagine a doctor saying, I'm 33% confident that I can heal. You understand?
And here's the thing, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, so we're not saying that if you are failing at school, you are dumb, right? Because when you break down what schooling, the current schooling system is, it's actually from the industrial era, right?
It's a problem.
Because it was a pipeline for you to be able to produce a working force that had a general understanding of arithmetic and, comprehension, right? And what we have is, we've got, for instance, kids who are failing to even read at the level that they're supposed to be able to read at, right? And that, I believe, is not just a problem with the curriculum or the teachers, but it's easy to blame the teachers. But I think it's also a community. Like, when I went to school, and it's tough because most of the time, this is where it also ties into the whole thing of the country as a structure as well, us not valuing the complete family, right? Or a family that's supportive, right? Whereas I had uncles and aunts, like my aunt, when my mom was not able to be at home because she was working, right, and I stayed with my grandmother, guess who was my lecturer? My aunt.
True.
She was on me here, like I could not escape. It was a thing of, listen, and it made it even worse because my aunt is now a teacher, so she already was with that mentality. Now imagine, you cannot leave the responsibility of your child not necessarily passing the schooling system, but learning, the ability to learn. You can't leave it to the school teacher, because the school teacher only has them for a little bit of time, right? But then at home, is a conducive. For instance, I was fortunate, I had a grandfather who used to read the news. 7 o'clock, we knew that whether we like it or not, Mkulu is going to watch TV. It's the news.
Yeah.
Whether I liked it or not, I was going to know about the world. If I didn't know a certain word,
You have to.
I was like, when they said, the economy, I was like, what is economy? You understand? So we need to go back to the whole thing of...
But I think it's also like you said.
Yeah.
I think for me, look at who the parents are. You became a parent young. I'm not even saying
it in a bad way, yeah.
You look at who their parents were, where they are. Environment plays a huge role in the child's upbringing.
We've got parents that are trying to escape their own
demons, and now you have a child into the world, and now this child becomes another problem into the system.
You get me?
Understand? There's certain places, bro, you are born into a place where you're fun. And I say this, like, guys, sometimes just leave Gauteng, leave your urban areas.
Yeah.
Go spend a week either in Makai or a luxury, or like how people live. It's scary. I tell myself the same thing that, bruh, my mom could have done the best that she could have done, but if I would have grown up here, I was going to be a victim of the system, because it is very difficult to be disciplined, and it's very difficult to say no to everything. But also, guys, so thank you so much to everybody that's watching this. Like, we have Insightful Content. We're not the funny podcast all the time. We're not the deep podcast all the time.
Not class all the time.
We are a variety. The next masala, like we're Springbok.
We're South Africans. We are in that. And here's the beauty of this country. Like, when somebody said this once, and I remember you were talking about it, that they said South Africa is the best country in the world if you remove the governance issue.
We're happy.
Like, we're the happiest country in the world, Baba. Like, we have we have everything, right? We have and we have the ability to, the fact that we can laugh at ourselves.
I just realized now, after every president leaves, then their problems get paid to the next president. When Beki left, his problems became Zuma's problems. Zuma became Ramaphosa's problems. I am fine now. What they're gonna sell now? Now this whole thing of I'm for the BRICS thing, but
but how well is it going to be?
I feel like we are sold.
As long as it works, for me, and it sounds like you're being a nationalist when you say this, but we need to have policies that are South Africa first and across the board, and that's a tough one.
Sure.
You understand? That's a tough one. But what, for me, going back to the sort of the source of this conversation, which started in the office, by the way, guys, was the fact that we looked at this Springbok win, right? Right now, I don't know when they touched down, because they're touching down today, right? At or Tambo. Yeah, they're touching down. We could drive right now. There's the people that are going to meet them, that is the country. That is the country coming, meeting them. And if we can get behind a sports team, imagine if we took that focus and got behind not a person per se, because a lot of people fall for the charisma, the charisma of a politician, but we looked at a political party and said, in fact, what should actually happen is we as the people say, me
and you are not political experts, so you're on this one, right? This is our personal opinion.
Yeah, we're just ordinary South Africans.
There's somebody there who's like an expert correcting us. Good shot. Do your job.
in the comments, correct
us, please. Yes.
But I feel like as a country, we should have a shopping list. And we're like, this is what we want for our country. Because we are the people. We are the stakeholders. You understand?
I understand, man. I'm just
shopping list. No. Where we say, this is what we want. If you cannot give us this, we're not even looking at you as a candidate for presidency. Because if we give you a time frame, if you cannot complete it within the first, and we have things in measure, right, where people are held accountable, you're not even getting a second term.
Now, honestly, fix the tender system. Fix the tender. Most problems in the country, there's a tender somewhere that was not.
Isn't it funny that even now, and I might and
Eskom, Transnet,
those of you in the know, please correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that where they say he finally admitted that there's something wrong about, he was worried about the fact that why are many of the leadership within state-owned entities, they're jumping ship now. Rats only leave, and I'm not saying that rats, but there's an analogy that says rats only jump off from a sinking ship. They never, they will leave a sinking ship. Yes. So you understand? So something is happening there, and what we need. And then he said, he knows of the corruption, because everybody's corrupt in the world, right? I always say that to people. Like, don't think this is something that's synonymous with South Africa only. What most people do, and Uncle Gwede said this, right? He said, in the world, most of them will, 80% they'll complete, or the 80% of the budget will actually go to what needs to happen, right? And they'll still, there's money and the 20% that's left, and share it amongst themselves. Not I take 20%, you take 20%, he takes 20%. And I'm not saying that I'm advocating for corruption, but I do know that it's something that's going to be with us. As long as there's mankind, there's going to be corruption.
Guys, please read. When are the I'm in every problem we have right now in the country,
tenders.
Somehow you can root it to someone got a tender and they didn't do their job correctly.
Can I tell you? Never mind that they didn't do it correctly. The reason why Brexit is not even done yet is because they're swapping over the tender.
There's someone waiting over the. I swear.
They're fighting over the tender.
Yes.
Things would get so quickly done. But immediately, before the work gets done,
and another thing that frustrates me, but now I can't jealous guys. I'm not gonna compete with the man there, man. Fuck, bro. Imagine finding a politician who's saying vote for me on Monday, and then on Tuesday you're conquerizing. No,
do you get me? Like you know, one of those worst things.
I don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm frustrated. I don't know. Somebody said this. I don't understand why a politician would have social media. You're supposed to be leading the country. You want to be a social butterfly? Fuck off.
Yeah, you get me. Like. No, but I feel like that's the general feeling of South Africans, right? Like they've reached the fall of stage. Like they're like here, not even here, they're here, right? Because you look at how the boys performed. Like when I say to you that the Springboks, for me, I feel like they are the picture of what sound leadership looks like. Like we have to give Rassie his flowers.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
They have sound leadership. But then he's also got sound players, right? Like level-headed men, right? Or level-headed South Africans, because so that we're not being misogynist, right? But like they are level-headed South Africans who understood the mandate. They were like, listen, we want to become World Cup champions. We are willing to submit under the leadership of a man who's going to go, listen, if you're gonna be, I feel like that's what he did. Said, if you want to become champions, this is my plan. If you follow it, I will get you to the World Cup finals, right? And that's what the kind of leadership, decisive leadership.
Yes, I think, bro. There's too many bad people, and I say bad people in terms of that thing you can't expect the other people to change. Guys, people who are corrupt are not gonna corrupt. They'll still be corrupt. They'll still continue eating. Yeah, people are selfish, and I'm saying this from a problem now. Kind-hearted people are becoming doormats now, and we as South Africa, we have become the kind-hearted people. We've just turned a blind eye and be like, you know what? Y'all are stealing or complain, but we're used to it now. But we're not. We're really not okay. Like, as a country, not okay. We're injured. It's like literally somebody saying that, look, I'm not going to shoot you, but I'm going to stab you. Like, you're going to live, but I'm still stabbing you.
I also feel like we, as a country, I know we have the ability to laugh at a lot of things and make light that which is heavy. But I feel like we need to be angry at the polls next year. But I channeled in a concentrated anger. An anger that says, listen, this is what happened. These have been the results for the past 30 years.
At this point,
and I'm not advocating for you to vote for whatever party where you want to, but vote for your grandchildren. Vote with your children, for someone who don't have kids.
The problem is people are not voting. That's another thing. And people that don't vote. Guys, no offense.
Please
you
vote.
are the cause of the problem.
Yes.
Because, and I'm like I said, I'm not being paid. you by not voting, it automatically goes to the African National Corruption. It's NC.
Incredible corruption.
African National
corruption.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, no, but you know what? And that's another thing. Isn't it crazy that how we are? There's that weird hesitation to say
in NC,
yes,
but yes.
It's crazy that there was a little bit of hesitation, but now you're like, oh, that's another thing. We're living in a country now where we are, by not speaking up, we are perpetuating a culture of, hey, if I say it, what's going to happen to me? No. We've lost that.
But you know that also
Yeah,
I think that's what's happening. Everybody's just focusing on their own thing now. Like we're just on that.
And we're distracted, right? Like, look at the boys when they went to the World Cup, ne? Like, how many videos have you seen online where they're saying, South African, the Springboks are bullies? Do you think they really cared about that? They were like, we have one mandate as a team. We're going to win the Rugby World Cup. And I feel like as South Africans together, whether black, white, colored, Indian, Chinese, you name it, right?
We need. Ramaphosa giving us that holiday on Monday, you would have won elections. I'm telling you, just that small.
No, but that's the thing. I also hate the fact that we are
bribable.
Yeah, we are bribable as a country.
We're bribable.
And also we've become apathetic. We've no, we no longer we're like we've been beaten into submission, right? But like, what can I do? No, you know what we can do? What we're doing here right now. This is part of what we can do.
Just talk about it, do something practical.
Have enough of these conversations enough to the point where it and I promise you, if we do it as a country, we start to have these difficult conversations. The fact that you're not my enemy just because you're white, you're not my enemy because you're Indian. No, like as a country, we're all sinking together.
Guys, like I said, Springboks is what we're supposed to be. We like the same things more or less, guys. We like good times. Yeah. We like good music. We like winning. Good food. We like winning, but most importantly, we love each other as a country.
We actually like hanging out together.
As South Africa, we love each other as a country. It's just that, that's fun and boy. In a friendship, it's always groups of friends. You can hate someone that you don't know just because they told you, I see that a lot of problems, but people that have racial issues, it's not even an opinion that you have. No. It's something that was sold onto you. And
also, even if it was something of a personal experience, we had it with one person. I can't label the entire people group. Yeah, it's because no. I had a bad experience with one person, and then all of a sudden I'm going to now brush paint everybody with the same brush.
We don't all steal.
Yeah,
they don't all. They're not all racist. Yeah. They are not all racist. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, and that's the reality. What the boys taught us was A, they look like the picture of what is South Africa that is united and strong, that is really strong together. And two, they taught us that we actually like the same things.
More or less, though.
Like we more or less like the same things, and we all like each other. And
not being misogynistic, but
there was such a I felt like the country cried tears of joy together collectively when the boys won, and we haven't cried tears of joy in a long time as a country.
It's raining on our behalf. Kulayana, guys, thank you.
We're out of space. We're out of time. So
out of space for who?
We've got like another 2 minutes.
I'm trying to send you out.
So, and by the way, if you've liked this conversation, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Like, let's get this one out there. I really feel like this is a message that we need to get out, and not even for the channel. Like, you don't even have to subscribe, but can we have these conversations about the country looking like what the Springboks showed us? They showed us what we look like as a country.
When you go to a restaurant and short and you're trying to tell the waiter putting a jumpy in
I almost out of time.
You showed us why jumpy saying. Why? But anyways, peace out, guys.
Peace out, and once again, thank you to the box. Thank you to the boys. You guys showed us what we look like as a country when we literally are. We are stronger together.
Let's make Montando's kids that say box. Come on now.
Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and thank you for the support thus far. We love you.
Bright like the white lights. Come on.
Shine bright like the timer.